All right, so who's hosting?
You are.
I think you are.
I am? Oh, crap. All right, well, it's been a while, but welcome to the DBO Starside Lounge podcast. We finally got our act together and decided to do this again.
I'm not sure that first part is true.
Okay. We never have our act together. Everybody's microphones are on. I think I'm recording. All right, we're good. Just checking.
Shut up, Colin.
So with us, we've got Claude Herrera.
Hey. Who?
And who? You.
Wait, yeah. I thought Lewis Wu was going to be here.
Oh, shit.
And we got Mastrbiggy.
Hello.
And Xenos.
Hello.
And Leviathan.
Hello.
And if there's anyone else, I don't know that you're in here, so hi. Okay, we're clear. So, there's this new expansion coming out for Destiny, The Taken King. And a couple of us were on hand at E3 to sort of see it in action. And just sort of wanted to start with everybody's thoughts.
Well, I think Sunbreaker proves once again that Titan is the master race.
Until they get shut down. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how good the Night Stalker is going to be for PvP, but...
Oh my god, it's the best!
It's actually surprisingly good.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a little ridiculous.
And I love the fact that they basically...
You won't get a huge number of kills, but you will participate in most of the kills your team gets.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I love the fact that their smoke thing is basically like another grenade they have, which is awesome.
Yeah. So they had the big Sony reveal. Who watched it? I was there.
I did not watch it.
I watched it.
Yeah. What'd you guys think? We were sort of expecting something, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was just the trailer and the actual reveal, which was really cool. It was a really exciting trailer. But the cool stuff was mostly after the reveal, with the interviews and the Vidoc. So
yeah. So I haven't even seen the interviews yet.
Yeah, are they recorded anywhere?
I can probably get you the list of them. I have them all saved. I put some of my favorites on the front page. I meant to add more to it, and I just forgot.
Yeah, we should definitely post a link with this. So sort of the big thing that's happening story-wise is Oryx is coming to town, and he's kind of crazy, scary looking, but we don't know much else than that.
He has some cheesy lines. We know that.
Yes.
I heard about that one.
It wouldn't be a Destiny game without cheesy lines.
That's probably true.
That is true.
I couldn't... When in the announced trailer, when he says, like, you killed his son with his own sword, I kept thinking of the line from Serenity. I was like,
oh, yeah.
He killed me, Mal, with his sword. I couldn't shake it. First time I heard it.
Never went away.
Nope.
I think that's one of the things I'm really excited about, though, is story in the expansion, because they seem to be really trying to get across the idea that, yeah, we know the story was a little light in vanilla Destiny, and we're going to try and do better.
In some of the clips, it almost looked like there were actual cinematics, or they were... I mean, it could have just been stuff that Bungie was using to, demo the, look good for the trailer or whatever. But like when you see your own jump ship fly by and stuff when you're, I think, exploring the Hive. I don't know if we have a name for that capital ship, but stuff like that seems like...
Dreadnought.
Yeah, Dreadnought. So that stuff seems to tie into a more of a presentation, at least, for the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited. Story is something that Bungie's always had in their pocket, and having it missing from the first year of Destiny really was kind of a shock. And I'm hoping that starts to flourish as we go forward.
I
Agreed.
think we're already seeing the beginning of that. I think House of Wolves has a more substantial story and a more fleshed out cast of characters than the stuff that came before it.
I love field work.
Yeah, just hearing multiple people talk on the radio is a welcome addition.
And even having them interact, because
Yeah.
really it's been us interacting with the ghost and our ghost interacting with other characters, but nobody
And
else ever
buttons.
talked to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and buttons.
I like the whole Varix Petra thing,
Yeah.
especially like when you go in the strike on the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Because they sort of had this like back and forth conversation, and then she gets cut off of the communications, and Varric stays with you, and I liked how that played out. So hopefully, yeah, they've got this in mind, and with the Taken King, we'll see a lot more.
Fingers are crossed.
Absolutely. So I think sort of the big banner addition, apart from story, for the Taken King is we've got 3 new subclasses. We're going to fill out the spectrum.
I think that's been planned since day one, right? It's just
Well, yeah, they conveniently left out like
That third
void
little
for
slot
void for Hunter and what's it?
Solar for Titan.
Yeah, they've
And
like
Arc
left
for-
out things and now they're getting them.
Yeah.
right.
What are you guys' impressions?
I like that they don't feel like rehashes of another subclass. They feel very new and not like, oh, we're just gonna take another subclass and change the color a little bit.
Right. Like the Warlock didn't get a gunslinger effect.
Right.
Yeah, so with Titans we got the Sunbreaker. Hunters we got Night Stalker. And with the Warlocks we had the Storm color. So that's the Solar Void and Arc.
Yeah.
What's everybody's favorite?
I'm guessing most of us aren't changing from our primary class.
Oh, I am.
I'm all for Hunter.
Who is?
I'm definitely switching. I'm switching from Warlock to Hunter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And
I thought of the 3, the least fun and the least impressive was the Warlock.
I was worried about the Warlock until... So we'll get to this later. But on the show floor, I got to play it a couple times. And I finally got the hang of how Warlock works. I'm back to feeling pretty good about it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, as we just said, like, these aren't rehashes of something that's already there. So I feel like when you sit down and play them for the first little bit, it's completely new. You have to figure out the new mechanics. You have to figure out the new strategies, how these things are going to work together. And for me, the Warlock had a weird learning curve.
I kind of felt that way about the Hunter. The first time I tried the Hunter, I only used the bow as an enemy as a bow, right?
Sort of like the
Right.
Golden Gun, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like it wasn't like I didn't feel like it was that strong. But then I started to watch people using it as a capture device, and it is astoundingly
It's
powerful.
brutal.
And it doesn't also wipe supers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the Hunter bow, when you shoot someone with it, so on the show floor they didn't have the full build for any of the 3. They didn't have those like built out all the way.
Right.
So we couldn't experience what the tree looked like when it was completely filled out. So like in the video, there's a point where the Hunter's firing multiple shots at a time.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to play with that.
And somebody on Reddit filled out the tree basically from all the people together looking at the trees in game.
Oh.
Oh,
So we
wow,
actually-
that's really cool. So we
So
know
we
what
know-
they're supposed to be.
Right. Well, at least in that build, of course.
Right. So
there-
that was something they made very clear on the show floor. They said the stuff that's filled out will be in the final game. The stuff that's not filled out is not filled out because it's not permanent yet. We haven't decided that these are the steps we're going to take. So
Right.
anything that people found by doing that is potentially useless information.
Right.
Well, and I figure there's probably the things that you saw in the trailers are pretty safe, like like you see the hunter do the sidestep or evade or whatever you want to call it,
Right.
and that's probably the thing I'm most excited about.
So that was grayed out on the build, and that's what Claude's talking about.
Yeah.
Right. But I think if they're going to show it off in the video, there's a certain amount of...
I'm used to them showing things and it not being there.
Bungie doesn't have a history of that. What are you talking about?
What? Oh, sorry. Wrong studio.
So yeah, so with the Night Stalker, well, I guess we can explain them real quick, because I think there's a lot of nuance. When we did get some hands-on time with the classes, there are some neat little tricks that you can do that aren't obvious at first. So like the hunter bow, when you shoot with it, whatever it hit, if you hit a target, it's gonna die. But there's sort of it hits, and then there's a beat, and then it explodes. And when it explodes, it leaves this little void sphere thing behind, sort of like a Warlock. I forget what you call it, just the static grenade that just sits there.
Oh yeah.
But what it does is, as long as it's active, which is like 10 seconds or so, it's kind of a long time, it'll shoot these little tendrils of void energy out at anything hostile. And if you get caught in that, it's like a suppression grenade, but you can't move, and your super gets knocked out, and you're just like a total sitting duck. And so one hunter can quite literally shut down an entire other team if they're grouped together.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it is brutal. And then like the Titan with the hammer throwing. Are you excited about that, Claude?
I am very excited about that. And not just the throwing. He becomes a tank, a real tank, when he's running around. There is nothing that can stand up to him while he's supered. Pretty much. I mean, I ran into a room full of the enemy, and the whole room fell down. There's nothing they could do.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it does one of those things. So like when so you know how like the gunslinger with a throwing knife, if you're up close, it does one thing, but if you're far away, it'll actually try to throw the knife.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed, but the Titan hammer, I think, does a similar thing.
It does exactly that.
Yeah.
Which makes it ridiculously powerful, because you come around a corner and the guy you want to kill is 10 steps away, so you can't punch him, but you can throw your hammer at him.
Yep. And if he is close enough and you pull the trigger, you do this like undercut thing and you hit him and he just explodes.
When I saw the thrown hammers have a ballistic trajectory, which is interesting, because I think that's kind of like, I'm used to the gunslinger kind of thing where it's, you point at him and you hit him.
Straight shot, right.
Yeah. So at least it's not like somebody can just point at 3 people and kill them super fast, because I was worried it was going to be overpowered watching all those trailers.
It has a pretty good range.
Yeah. But at least you have to... It takes a little bit more nuance than just point and kill.
But the Warlock Nova Bomb is the same way, right?
Right.
Warlock Nova Bomb, if you throw it straight and your target's any distance away, it's going to smash onto the ground in front of you and do nothing.
Right.
Oh, there's a little bit of AoE with that. If you throw the hammer and you miss. There's no damage.
Well, there is some AoE to the hammer,
but not
it
as much
explodes
as
on impact.
Not as much as Nova Bomb.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, all right, fair enough. But then again, the Nova Bomb you get one of, and I get
12.
A lot of hammers.
I think somebody said 12. I'm not sure about that.
I think it's a time thing, and so it depends on how fast it's counting down. And I think we haven't seen all the things that affect that countdown. The same way the Blade Dancer has a variable time of action depending on what else is active.
Right.
What boots he's wearing and all that fun stuff. So 12 is probably a decent number, but it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, like, I guess if you're throwing the hammer further away, does it take longer for the hammer to come back to you? So do you get like fewer throws?
No, as soon as it hits something, you can't throw the next one until the first one connects with something.
Okay.
But that doesn't have to be a person. It can be the wall or anything.
Got it.
And then
it was the wall a lot for you, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. Man.
Just calling it as I see it.
I hope when you activate the hammer that it starts playing the Super Smash Brothers hammer music when you
Yeah.
The 3 kill in one shot is a hammer time medal.
And it does make a cool sound. It's like somebody hitting a forge with a big old hammer.
Well,
Or
and
hitting an anvil.
the look of that hammer is gorgeous too,
Yeah.
with the bird on one side.
I don't think I ever noticed the bird.
I don't think so either.
There's the artist posted the art for it. So
Cool. I like when they do that. There's so much there that you just don't get to see in game, even if you're like inspecting.
Yeah, I wish the inspecting was like Skyrim, where you could rotate it around and zoom in.
Yeah.
Because they've got all the other features there. They hide the menu. They show it up big, but you can't do anything else to it.
So Claude and Biggie, did you guys get to use the Warlock at all?
Yeah, I play Warlock, so that was my first go-to. I liked it. Like, it was cool because it combines, Destiny and kind of Star Wars, the super.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Blade Dancer, and that kind of felt like a Blade Dancer type super.
Mhm.
It wasn't terrible. Just of the 3, it was my least favorite.
I tried it once and did miserably with it and decided I was going to leave it alone.
Shocking.
Yeah, so what we saw on the show floor was that a lot of people... so the way it works, so once you cast your super, then you just run around and you still have to point, you have to aim, kind of. But you hold down your trigger or your bumper and it fires out lightning, but you have to keep holding the trigger. And a lot of people were treating it like the Blade Dancer, where they were just doing tap, tap, tap. And you're not going to get damage output with that way. So a lot of people were feeling underwhelmed, and then when you started explaining, like, oh, if you hold the thing down, then you'll do a lot more damage. And that sort of turned it around for a lot of people. But it's not obvious at first.
No, definitely not. Interesting.
Yeah. And then what's crazy about it is it arcs, or it does chain lightning. So if you're chasing a whole team and the back guy is still visible, but the rest of the team's managed to get around a corner, if you can get the back guy, you're going to get the whole rest of the team too.
Oh, cool.
Because it'll just arc off of them and keep going.
So one thing I do like about these supers is they seem to complement each other a little more than in previous. So, like, if someone gets their void bow and locks, let's say 3 or 4 targets, and then that Warlock does his super and he chains his
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
thing through all those players, like, that's, they do some damage with that.
Yep. Lots of orbs.
Lots of orbs.
That's one thing I don't know how the orb generation works for the hunter bow. I don't know if you have to actually make a kill or if it's like just locking down a target.
I would guess it's if a target you lock down dies, just based on the way.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That seems like the
would.
most fair.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, Claude, I know you only have a couple minutes left. Is there anything that you'd like to really sort of jump into? We can fast forward or...
Oh, goodness gracious.
Did you guys play the new game types?
We did, yeah. I enjoyed Mayhem way more than I enjoyed Rift. But I enjoyed them both. The problem with Rift was I kept finding myself... One of the maps they were using is very open in the sense that there's lots of places to target where the... What is that thing called?
The spark.
The orb. The spark. Where the spark... So the spark spawned in the middle of like a boxcar. And it was accessible from many, many directions.
Yeah, that was kind of nutty.
And so I ended up dying a lot. Mostly because I was trying to play the spark instead of play the hang back and shoot the guy with the spark.
Right.
Yeah, I think I saw a lot of people die there in the videos.
And I think the spawn points were somewhat close enough that it was hard to sort of clear out the area before picking up the spark and making a run for it.
Almost impossible.
Unless you wiped out the team all at once or very close.
So one thing that happened during the show that will never ever happen again, but I was really happy with, two different games, people were totally clueless about what the point of the game was, and so The game started, and I immediately ran in, grabbed the spark, and ran and scored. Because
That's never going to happen
nobody
again.
had any. No, it's never going to happen again. It's never going to happen for anybody again because you're never going to be that clueless about what the routes are.
Oh, maybe
Right.
day
But it was
one.
really nice that first time. Yeah, day one.
Yeah.
I got to say, the one thing I really liked about it, just from seeing it, was it seems like a combination of capture the flag with Griffball.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because
A little bit.
that whole, explosion,
It was-
everybody dies. Which
What's
is
actually closer to that other game that
Yeah.
what's that game? The basketball type game.
Yeah.
from Halo 4.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it's called.
Anyway, it's closer to that. And the whole idea, so they give you extra
Ricochet.
points if you, Ricochet, there you go. They give you extra points if you run backwards and score backwards. But it's not, the video shows the guy doing a backflip and slamming his thing in. That's all animation. You basically just walk backwards into the goal.
Right.
And that's a pretty unsafe thing to do
For
if there's
style
anybody
points.
around. So it's not like you came jumping in out of a corner somewhere and did a cool loop-de-loop and landed. It's you just saw that there was nobody near you, so you turned around and walked backwards. I'm sorry, I'm being a Debbie Downer. I shouldn't do that.
Yep.
Well, someone's going to find a way to do that. And you're going, how did he was walking backwards. I was shooting him.
Right.
And they're still going to score the point.
They're still going to score the point. Well, you don't actually I'm walking backwards on my controller, but that's not what the screen's showing. The screen's showing I'm doing that funky little backflip.
Right. Right.
That's what the animation is.
Oh, I'm worried about blinkers for that one. Blink backwards into the goal.
Yeah, that's going to be... I wonder about that. I didn't see any sort of last-minute saves. Like, if you got near the goal, you scored.
We had a last minute
I didn't
save
see anybody...
in our game.
Did you really?
Yeah, like, the guy, as he died, he fell through the rift.
Oh, wow.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I was looking for those and never saw one. If people got close enough to sort of, start the jumping animation, they almost always made it in. So I'm glad to hear that, because that'll make it, that'll make blinkers a little less dangerous. But you're right, it's still going to be hard. And forget about backwards. Forward blinkers are going to be hard. Just don't let them get that close. All right.
That's the trick.
I got to go, guys.
All right.
I
Thanks, Claude.
apologize. Thank
See
you
ya.
for having me.
See you, Claude.
Enjoy the rest of the talk. And
Bye.
bye.
So,
Well, thank God he's gone.
oh, I know. Jeez. Now we can talk about cool stuff. So, I guess now it's 2-on-2. We got Levi and Xenos, who weren't at the show, and we got Biggie and me, Beorn. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Beorn. I realized.
Just edit it in post.
Yes. Post. You can do so much in editing.
Yeah,
But,
you could probably reduce everything we've said to about half of.
This will be
the
5
time.
minutes long. It'll be
So-
great.
So I had one small question for you guys,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you even saw it, but I was watching people playing Rift and Clash in all the videos, they had, and the tracker had the like sections half the width of the current ones sometimes.
The tracker.
Yeah, like the radar.
Oh, yeah. So, Biggie, did you see that?
No.
Yeah, I can't figure out what the mechanic is. I was watching people play all day. I have no idea what it is.
I was really, really curious about that.
Yeah, it seemed to trigger... Like, at one time I thought, well, whenever you pop your super, that happens. But no, it wasn't 100%. Then I thought, well, maybe somebody was crouching. Like, when if you crouch for a second, then it comes back, and you get that, like, extra precision on your motion tracker. No, that wasn't it.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see then.
But yeah, it definitely splits into like 12 or 14 slices and becomes a lot more accurate. But it only lasts for like a few seconds.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad somebody saw that because it was driving me nuts. I couldn't figure out what it was.
It was driving me equally as nuts. I even like rewatched the section in the video like 4 times trying to figure it out.
I asked one of the Bungie guys, and he didn't work on the multiplayer team, so he was like, I have no idea.
Maybe it just snuck into the build.
Yeah, exactly. I think there were a couple of things like that. There was Duncan found a really cool thing where if you're looking at your inventory screen if you pull the left trigger while your inventory's up, all your weapons get a little icon showing what their elemental damage type is.
Oh,
Hmm.
Yeah. So you can like just hold down the left trigger and then mouse around or scroll around and find your, like, oh, there's my void shotgun.
yeah.
It looks just like my other ones, but now I don't have to like hunt around for it.
Yeah, that was especially in the Dark Below. I had 3 LDRs, all with different damage types.
Mm-hmm.
And I always took the wrong one with me.
So the E3 floor layout was kind of interesting. Most games get one booth at E3. Destiny and Star Wars Battlefront had 2 booths, one in each hall.
Battlefront had 3.
Battlefront had 3?
Yeah.
I didn't see the third one.
There was one outside.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's sort of a booth.
Okay.
Did you have to have
Pseudo
a badge?
I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
But no one was going to that one anyway, so it's like, okay, I'll just go there.
Yeah, I found out about it on my way to the taxi to the airport because it was next to the taxi stand. But so E3's got the 2 main halls, and Activision was in the South Hall, I think it was, which is like the big one. So you had like Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, and Destiny in what is quite literally a building into itself.
Yeah. South Hall is all third-party stuff, basically.
Gotcha. That makes sense, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is my first E3, so there was like a big learning curve.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the other booth was in Sony?
Yeah, so the other one was a Sony booth, and that's where the Clash Mayhem game type was, and that's where I was working, so I saw a lot of Mayhem.
Related to Destiny or unrelated?
Both. Actually, it was interesting, like this, everybody I talked to before the show said, oh man, it's going to be crazy, I sort of had in my mind that the crowd was just going to be unwieldy and we're going to be like fending people off with sticks and I don't know. I had this like worst case scenario in my head, and it was totally awesome. Like all the attendees were like super polite, and everybody was just really excited to be able to get some hands-on time and see the games. It was cool.
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad as like, waiting in line at PAX or something.
Yeah, PAX is pretty crazy.
So what do you guys think of the Mayhem game type?
I think that's the one I saw the least of.
It's definitely insane. There's a lot of mayhem going on.
It's properly named.
So, what was one of the maps I had on that one had a bunch of man cannons and teleporters.
Crossroads, yeah. It was a good map.
Oh, it had teleporters too.
Yeah, teleporters, and so it was like two battle areas, and they're connected by man cannons, and then there were teleporters on the side, and so if you went through the side teleporter of one, you'd end up on the side of the other area.
Okay.
And so you could traverse the map very quickly, which I think was really good for the Mayhem mode because it was just constantly chaos, which is the whole point.
I'm guessing a lot of mid-air supers.
So
yeah, a lot of people launching and then hitting their super button in midair and just like landing and devastating everything.
Or if you're the hunter, I saw this several times. Hunter midair goes to shoot the bow, and doing that slows your momentum. And so the bow would hit the ground, and the hunter would just fall to their death. And I saw it happen over and over and over again. I don't know if it's a bug or a feature.
Oh, they'll call it a feature either way.
Yeah, so. Yeah. But it was kind of funny. Same thing with the Warlock doing the Stormcaller. There was one time where I landed and had to like jump myself up the edge of the wall to not fall as I'm throwing lightning everywhere. But yeah, the Mayhem game type was crazy because the supers come back. If you're just standing there, I think it's 40 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
And if you're doing anything, throwing grenades, getting assists, kills, whatever, you can get a super every 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's not going to be a permanent game type, if I had to guess.
They'll probably use it for trials.
Hey, I'd have a better chance of getting to the lighthouse.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun to see people play that. And it was good because, so I think Claude said that he had a lot more fun with Mayhem. And I don't know about, how did you feel about it, Biggie?
I thought it was a lot of fun, but I'm definitely a person that likes a little more competitive, less chaotic gameplay. So Rift was definitely my favorite of the two. But it was a lot of fun. If you have fun with Halo's party game types, then Mayhem is definitely for you.
Mayhem seemed more like if we were going to get a bunch of DBO people together and just of varying skill levels
and just have fun.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people just sort of giggling as they're running around just throwing supers and causing total mayhem.
Stupid stuff happens in that game type.
I bet. Did a heavy ammo drop more often too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so grenades, supers, so it was just your ability regen. And heavies were, I think it dropped 3 or 4 times in 12 minutes. 7 minutes. There weren't 12-minute games, there were 7-minute games. And it dropped 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Levi's quiet.
Yeah. Sorry. I figure the person who actually knows what they're talking about should be talking, so I haven't quite found that spot where I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's because they went and I neglected way too much work to watch all the E3 stuff.
Yeah, I just woke up and was like, oh, it's E3? I didn't realize, so...
Yeah,
it kind of snuck up this year. I was like, yeah, I'm going this year, and then kind of forgot about it, and then the week came and I was like, oh, I guess I go to this thing.
So you guys want to talk about the pricing debacle?
Sure.
We don't have to.
I will. Actually, I'd just like to point out one thing about the campaign mission.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely think people that were disappointed with missions in the base game are really going to like what is in store, or at least what I've seen. Even if there's not a lot of cutscenes going on, the missions themselves are very much traditional in the sense that there's a ton of scripted things going on, a lot of little vignettes and animations and cool things to look at. So I definitely think people will be happy with Taken King single player stuff.
Like seeing the catch hit the space shuttles and the Cosmodrome, like you see that at the beginning of Destiny, and then like that kind of stuff just kind of
there's tons of
disappears.
ships flying around on what is it, Phobos, the mission?
Yeah,
there's tons of ships flying around. There's Cabal crawling around and getting smashed by elevators and being sucked out of like black holes that open. It's really cool.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, honestly, just from the trailer, it looked more like a Halo kind of experience.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I was that of all the things I saw for Destiny, that was the biggest takeaway for me, besides the supers.
I think probably. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even looking at House of Wolves, you can see. I mean, I felt especially that first story mission of House of Wolves. Immediately, it felt more like a Halo campaign because there was just new things happening, and like taking that spider tank on with the new vehicle, which I can't. Is it just the heavy pike? Is that what it's called? Like I found myself, I was just flipping, like just tumbling over and over across rocks as mines were shooting out every direction, and it was very chaotic, and it just was sandboxy, and it was the kind of thing that would happen, in Halo. My Warthog would be flipping over, and somehow I'd land on a scarab and then blow it up or something. And so to see more of that start to creep in is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think kind of along the similar lines is I think the thing I was most excited about was the talk of the Dreadnought. Yeah, the Dreadnought. Because just the idea that we're going to have a location that is more like a dungeon instead of like a just kind of an empty location, I think is really exciting. Yeah.
I think my thought on that was, so something that's always bothered me about, and not just Destiny, but like any game that has how to describe it, it's like it's semi-open world, so these like little pockets of of open space that's all built out, but you cannot go beyond that. So there are supposed to be other cities and other locations and like what's outside the gates and
Right.
and so that's always bothered me. That it's like I have this thing and I know I want to go somewhere else, but I just can't do it because they didn't build it. It's not part of the game. So something like a ship there's a finite amount of space, and so I feel like it'll be satisfying to maybe be able to explore the entirety of a ship,
Right.
and that can be its own place, and you don't feel like I wish I could go check out the rest of this place.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd rather have the potential for, even though I can't get there, just the feeling, the atmosphere of openness. Like, I wish, just dropping into Mars, there's this sense of open, endless exploration. And of course, then you walk 200 yards or whatever, and there's a wall, which isn't fun, but at the same time, at least that atmosphere is there. I'm actually worried that the Dreadnought is going to be, if that's going to be this fully enclosed patrol, I find that I'm always, if I patrol the moon, I don't go down into the Hellmouth, like I avoid it like the plague.
Yep.
And I'm always out in the open, and it's like I feel like it, I don't even know if it's not actually true, it just feels like everything is more accessible, even though it really isn't. And so it's like there's certain areas in the Cosmodrome I steer towards because it feels open, even though it's really just as open as the Skywatch area. And
Right.
I hardly ever find myself up there because you have to go through little hallways, and for some reason I'm scared of little hallways.
Well, what's interesting to me, so I get what you're saying because I do the exact same thing. So for me, part of the reason I don't go to those places is because if I get like a patrol mission to go out to go into the Hellmouth, right, to kill a wizard,
Right.
in there. The problem is once I've gone all the way down, I complete the mission, and then there's nothing for me to do.
Yeah,
There
then you
are
just
no
have
missions
to
down there.
go backwards. And I guess that's what I'm worried, that the Dreadnought might be like a really big Hellmouth, and
Yeah.
you're gonna how are they? But again, they can, if it's so huge, they can have open areas within an enclosed space. It's basically just the skybox that is closed and not the area, the gameplay area.
True. Yeah, and if they disperse the missions appropriately, then
Yeah, this Hive Dreadnought is, I guess they're just constantly being boarded, and like the engineers are at the back, like yelling at the pilots, and they're all getting attacked. I don't know. It's kind of hilarious to
Non-stop.
think about that. Yeah,
that is
that is a terrible ship security if you just have constant boarders leaking in.
Well, and that's always been something that's been amusing to me about Destiny is the story very very much sets it up that you're the big hero,
Right.
But then you get to Venus, and your ghost is talking about how no one's been to Venus in a really long time, and you get there, and oh hey look, there's another player.
Oh, look, there's a whole bunch of other players.
Oh hey look, there's a patrol mission. Like, they haven't been there in a long time, but they're ready for you.
Yeah, that disconnect's always bothered me.
Yeah, it's like they're and in some ways they build it up like you're the only one doing this, and then at other times it feels like they don't want to I don't know, like give things a final ending so that
Right.
but that I would rather have like a Halo 3 finite ending and just all of us pretend that it didn't happen than compromise the fun of some big epic story conclusion, if that makes any sense.
Well, and we're heaping praise on House of Wolves here, but I think House of Wolves did a good job of balancing between those two, because the beginning is very much like, oh, welcome the Guardians, and not just you,
Yeah.
And then once you get in there, the Queen talks to you as the one that killed the Heart of the Black Garden, And I thought that was a nice balance, because it made it make sense that everywhere I go, these other Guardians are also killing wolves. But at the same time, it still feels like my hero's the one that's doing all the real work.
And then they did a nice job with the story arc of Skolas. Like finishing it up on top of the Citadel, like up in the sky. Like that was just really cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did that 3 days ago or something.
Oh, you got through it?
Yeah. Which was funny because I love that skybox, and I kept trying to jump into the other cube areas, but I could not. I just kept dying. But then when Skolas finally showed up, for some reason I thought I was going to have to go through the portal and then fight him, and so the time gate, the Vex gate. And so when he just popped up out of nowhere in front of it, I kind of just yelped and kind of just ran all the way back to the beginning of the elevator shaft. And I really enjoyed thinking of Petra or the Queen watching like a video feed of this brave Guardian, like running all the way away from Skolas.
Are you sure this is the right one?
Yes, he's just going to equip Icebreaker. That's all he's doing.
Strategery.
He's trading out Galhorn for Icebreaker because he's out of rocket ammo.
So, why don't they use some just general ghost dialogue that even if we've heard it before in like specific circumstances, I'm surprised that they don't reuse or use something that how Halo had, like, the Marines had 1 billion pieces of dialogue or whatever. I'm sure they've got a bunch recorded for the Ghost. I'm surprised that they don't use anything at all when in the DLC missions. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This place is amazing.
Yeah, like, or just, him saying, I can do that, or something like that. Yeah, it's weird that it goes from nonstop talking to absolute zero.
Well, and he doesn't say anything in the mission you guys played either, right?
Are we allowed to talk about that?
I don't know.
I don't recall hearing anything.
I would assume you are, because the press played it, and they are talking about everything in it, but...
I'll just go on a limb and say no.
Okay.
There was no ghost so far.
It just puzzles me that they don't even use it in some limited way to at least make it feel like it's still present. Like, it worries me that they're going to just...
Get rid of it.
I don't know. Yeah,
character.
Or replace it, or get a new voice actor or something.
Yeah. I, for one, have never been in the camp of having a problem with the Ghost. I always actually really liked the Ghost. I just actually yesterday finished leveling my second Warlock on PlayStation, so I went through all the missions again, and I was enjoying the Ghost dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only like a few lines the 60th time I've heard them that, I start to think, that maybe could have been better. But like the first time through, I wasn't, thinking about that at all. And I wonder how like DLC contracts work with DLC with voice actors. Like if they're doing the main game and, they're this persistent character, do they... how does that... I wonder if, like, maybe his contract somehow didn't cover DLC or something. I don't know.
It seemed like a weird oversight, but yeah, could be anything, right?
Yeah. I wonder if... So maybe Destiny 2 begins with your Ghost being shot and killed. And then the game is trying to find another Ghost before you die, I guess.
For all we know, Taken King starts at that.
Yeah. And then you jump in a jump ship, and a Long Night of Solace 2 level starts, is what I'm going to guess. I don't know if I'm setting my hopes up a little too high.
It's like fan fiction.
Yeah.
And
if I did if I did a Destiny comic, it would just start with a space battle just to get it over with, because I have urges.
I think we all do.
Yeah. But I always thought a good bit of a comic storytelling would be somebody just going to orbit in like a story presentation and then just going back to the planet, but right behind the bad guy. That seems like a good strategy. Like,
Well, those are darkness zones. You can't join there.
oh, right.
So do you guys have any questions like about E3?
Will someone help me get to the lighthouse? Is my only question, I think, at this time.
What console?
The One or 360. The lighthouse is basically like a philosophical concept to me now. Like, it's
Right.
just this thing that I will never. I don't know what it is really. Like, I just have a vague notion of it, and I know I'll never get there.
Yeah, I feel you.
I think we can suspect from the E3 trailer, though, that if you get your Titan, you'll go to the lighthouse.
Was that the same location?
It looked
Yeah.
like it.
It is.
Okay, I thought it looked. So I have purposefully not watched the lighthouse cinematic, so that if someday I'm able to go, it'll be like a fresh new experience.
I'll put you guys in my backpack any day.
You're gonna need a big backpack.
I think the thing I've heard, though, is because I'd say Zero is probably one of the best players on Xbox.
And he and I have had so much trouble.
Well, and that's what he said, is he's like, it's not just skill, it's also luck, because it's like you're gonna get matched up against people that are better than you, no matter how good you are.
Yeah, we had a good run a couple weeks ago. We did like 6-0. It was looking good. It was feeling good. And then we got shut down.
Yeah, we got 2 wins, lost 3 in a row, and then won 7 in a row.
Wow. But then what happened?
Well,
Then you lost one?
Well, we lost 3, so we didn't go to the lighthouse because we had the forgiveness.
There should be somewhere else you get to go if you lose horribly, like somewhere really boring where nothing happens and your guardians just kind of sit there.
The reef sewers.
Yeah.
Here, help the sweeper bot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the commiseration area.
There's one sad cake. It's been sort of picked over.
But you said, you mentioned, do we want to talk about the pricing debacle?
Oh, yeah.
And I think the only thing I'd say that's just kind of been bugging me, so I'm going to get a tiny bit preachy, is everybody was super excited when Taken King was announced. And we knew the pricing, we knew everything. Nothing actually changed at all. It's like we had an interview with Luke that, you can argue whether or not it was misunderstood or not, but I think the main thing is that Taken King is still the same thing it was then. And if you don't want to pay, what you think is a exorbitant sum for collector's edition, legendary edition, whatever, don't do it. And that's the best way to tell a company that you don't agree with their pricing structure. But I don't think there's any reason to suddenly get depressed about Destiny because of one interview that even the interviewer said was taken out of context. So that's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah, I would just say, Luke is a pretty sarcastic guy, and that totally doesn't come through text.
Nope.
Yeah.
He's definitely not trying to, disrespect the community or, any of that stuff. But I would say that there seems to maybe, I'm not sure, but I think the way they've approached the Taken King has kind of been weird. I don't think they haven't been calling it an expansion, but I think people are assuming it's like another House of Wolves Crota type deal.
Right.
And this is substantial. This is basically another entire game. And perhaps people aren't treating it that way or don't think it is.
Yeah, I get the sense that it's somewhere in between. I don't actually know this, but I get the sense that it's larger than the 2 DLCs, but smaller than a Destiny 2 release.
Right.
Yeah.
So somewhere between that.
And
it feels weird to call it an expansion.
Yeah, if you look at kind of like those I don't know if they were officially released, but there were, before Destiny released, there were like, you know, I think Duncan was covering it. It was like the lawsuit stuff between Infinity Ward and Activision. There was some Destiny information. Yeah, like if you look at that, you know, I'm assuming this is what Comet is, Taken King.
Right.
And that seemed like it was a substantial addition to Destiny. It wasn't just some like, here's some DLC.
Well, yeah, from that leaked slide, it was 12 multiplayer maps, and I can't even remember how many missions, but it was basically it was a lot of stuff. It was 2 or 3 times what was in either of the expansions, and Luke's been very clear to, whenever they ask him how many strikes or how many missions, be like, well, we're not going to talk about numbers because it's hard to quantify that stuff. So we'll see.
Especially now that they're doing the quests and the little mission stuff, which I really like. I mean, I feel like it fills up. I like having like big story missions and then little ones in between that kind of slow down the pace and stuff.
Some glue, like there's a little continuity.
Yeah.
Oh, it was actually 6 PvP maps is what the slide said, but we already know that's outdated because one of the developers in an interview said that they're showing about 1/3 of the maps.
And that was 4. Yeah, there were 4 maps on the show floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about the pricing structure. Like, if it's $40 for the game, the base game, if you have Destiny, and if you feel like spending more for more stuff, then spend it. If you don't, you don't. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I couldn't wrap my head around when they did the announcement was the fact that the 2 collector's editions were the same price.
Yeah.
But one's got a bunch of physical stuff, and one just doesn't. Well, and that was just weird.
I think I read and it's rumored, but it sounds very likely, which is GameStop, because it's a GameStop exclusive. And so people think that GameStop might have put up some money, and that's why it's got more stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's weird to, like, I don't think everything was like, I don't know if the pricing structures are perfect or whatever. It's just weird to see how much that stuff like drives the social media narrative when you compare it to other mediums and other entertainment things where like people, and I mentioned like comics in the forum once about how like people don't usually, like, interviewers don't ask why their comic, Marvel increased their price or whatever of the comic. They ask them questions about what they're actually responsible for, and it's weird how that journalistic narrative or whatever is different for different mediums, because people will complain about like the pricing of a comic, but they don't like actually direct it at the content of the comic. It's like it's a weird distinction. And like I play the X-Wing miniatures game, tabletop game. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah, so that thing is like money suck and like a void of, or a black hole of money, because you want to get, if once you get the, one X-Wing, all of a sudden, oh, I love how this plays, I need like 4 more of them. And all of a sudden that's, $60 or whatever. And it's weird how everybody's okay with spending heaps of money on certain mediums, and then you spend way less than that on a video game, and people like go crazy. And because I don't have, like, it's still, I mean, Taken King sounds expensive to me because I, am operating on a very small wallet, and so, but it doesn't. I don't know, like everything just sounds expensive to me.
Well, go ahead.
The last thing I was going to say was that, like, but compared to I spend all that money. Me and my girlfriend spend that much money on the X-wing games, and then we play like, twice a month, and it's fun. But then I play Destiny, a few times a week, and it's just kind of it's weird how people get riled up about those things when they don't get riled up in other mediums.
Right.
I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think a big part of that is gamers have gotten very complacent, and I don't mean that in a offensive way, but we've been used to paying $60 since the original Xbox.
Yeah.
But we all know game development prices are going up, not down. So it makes sense to me that things are going to be a little bit more expensive when it comes to DLC, because they've already shown we're not willing to pay more than $60 for the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so,
which is weird. I mean, when you think of it compared to other, movie prices have slowly gone up forever. I mean, comic prices started off at a dime, and now they're, $5 or $6 sometimes, and it's a steady growth. And yet, video games, it like flatlined. And now to make up for that flatline, they've got to do other things to try to make up for it. And I'd almost rather have the base price go up and have less, crazy things, Doritos and Red Bull or whatever.
Yeah.
With you there.
I think one thing I've kind of had to adjust my view on Destiny as more of I almost don't want to use this word, but it's kind of a growing service rather than... So if you look at a game like World of Warcraft, you have a subscription base for that. And then you're also paying for expansion packs. On consoles, you don't really have a model like that yet, and I think Destiny is trying to tackle that model for consoles, and slightly different though, as there's no subscription. And instead of like waiting every 2 years for the next substantial release like Destiny 2, Destiny 3, it's just Destiny, and you're going to get big content drops every year at a slightly smaller price than the $60. So I just think players maybe might want to view it a little differently than your 3-year cycle game.
Yeah. Well, the thing with World of Warcraft that I sort of sat back and thought about it, I played for many years, and that's $15 a month.
Yeah.
If you get like a year, it goes down to I think like $13 a month. But cost-wise, I have 2 copies of Destiny, one for Xbox, one for PlayStation, and my maintenance cost on that is still lower than what I was paying for World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And I played a lot more.
Well,
yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
Well, and just in that same vein, it's like the thing I like about that is, if for whatever reason, if I ever fall out of playing Destiny for a while, I'm not worried about like, should I keep my subscription, should I not, like you were with MMOs. It's right. Like, if I just don't do anything, I'm not charged more money. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. You just got to keep your Xbox Live or your PlayStation up to
date. That's the thing that drove me crazy about MMOs. I played EVE for probably a year, but for 4 months of that, I didn't even touch it. And that's $8 a month, I think is what I was paying down the drain every month for nothing. And there's not that worry with a game like Destiny. It's like, I either play it and I enjoy it, and I pay a little bit of money to keep doing that, or I don't pay anything and I don't lose anything.
And so far, it seems, nobody's compelled to upgrade.
Yeah.
It's not like the game's going to stop working if you don't pick up the expansions or...
In fact, I know several people on the forums that haven't bought the upgrades. There's several of them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, compared to, if MMOs are usually subscription, Destiny is closer to a tabletop game model. Like, you buy the core set, and then you buy the expansions, and if you want to stay up, if you played in tournaments or whatever, you'd need to be caught up or whatever to play what everyone else is playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is kind of interesting, like you guys point out, that Destiny's model is more, it's kind of different. It's kind of unique like that compared to others.
Yeah, and like for me, that's a lot of the uproar about Taken King's not Destiny 2, and it's like it's not supposed to be. I don't ever think you're really going to get a Destiny 2. You're just going to get an endless stream of content, and you pay per piece of content. You're not forced to pay in advance for content that might not show up.
Right.
Yep.
So it's just been changing my perception of what Destiny is, and I think it's kind of breaking new grounds for the console pay model. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making things up, but that's just the way I'm seeing it.
Do you think if Destiny had a subscription service, do you think people would be less surprised or frustrated with, like, I mean, I guess these announcements would be almost completely different. They'd be paying more probably in the long run and getting the same content, but I wonder if a subscription service would almost like, I don't know, like it's more of a consistent, it's hard to complain. Like if they don't increase the prices, it's hard to. I
see what you're saying. I think that's a hard sell to a console audience.
Yeah,
I think a subscription is like the devil for anyone that plays on Xbox or PS3.
Well, especially
or PS4. Sorry,
especially because on 3 of the 4 consoles it's on, you're already paying a monthly fee.
Yeah. I'm not saying I want a subscription at all. I'm just wondering hypothetically if that would have, if people would be less. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Angered by expansions if they were paying a regular fee instead of in big heaps.
This is completely like unfounded on anything, but I just get the sense that if there were a subscription model, there would be fewer players. It would be a smaller player base, meaning that you'd have to the monthly subscription fee to sort of break even might have to be higher than we'd think. I think having a subscription model would be a sort of self-filtering system, and it makes it less inviting for people to hop in and play, because right now you buy the copy of Destiny and you hop on and play.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have a gold or a PSN Plus account, you can still play Destiny. You just can't play all of Destiny.
Yeah, and I think there are other ways to supplement for Bungie to supplement their game that don't require that don't require subscriptions.
What was it, Bungie Pro?
Yeah, Bungie Pro. You get more exotic drops.
Oh, people would hate that.
Oh, or just more vault space. That should be what it is. More vault space. They should open like one of the 9 in Jupiter or whatever should be like a bankers union who they have a bunch of vault space that you can go rent out for like actual money or whatever.
Yeah.
One extra weapon space for $1 a month.
I'm going to guess that one of the 9 is going to be Red Bull TM.
Oh, jeez.
Just a Red Bull can.
Yeah.
Maybe there's boss.
Maybe in a robe, at least, like just sticking out the top of a robe. So it's got a little bit of, I don't know, atmosphere to it.
I think you need to sketch this up and send it to me so I can put this on the podcast artwork.
And it's
I agree.
Mouth animation is the little, what do you call it? Can open thing at the top.
The
just
tab.
keeps moving.
The tab.
The tab. Yeah.
I actually saw one at my local 7-Eleven, and I'll admit it, I bought it.
I thought you were saying you saw a talking Red Bull in a robe.
I saw a talking Red Bull once.
Well, let
me tell you.
That's their stand-up, like their cardboard
How many
stand-ups.
Red Bulls had you had before you saw the talking Red Bull?
Only 2 more than an average day. No, but I bought one. I doubt I'll buy more. I think the funniest thing about the Red Bull thing to me is a Red Bull, even by itself, is like $3. The only reason I ever bought Mountain Dew in anything related to Halo is because it's $1 less. It's like, yeah, I'm thirsty. I might as well get a Mountain Dew and get some Halo stuff. I really don't see me doing that with Red Bull stuff. oh yeah, I'll drop $3 for 50% extra XP for 30 minutes.
Is that what it is? 30 minutes?
Yep.
Wow.
30 minutes.
I get stressed out about those XP things. I never use them because I think, oh, what if something happens in that 30 minutes and I have to quit?
What if my power goes out?
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why I'm sure everybody's going to do this with these too. You just complete a bunch of bounties and then activate one and then turn them in.
Oh, yeah.
Genius.
I thought of
Did
that all
Gamer-
on my own. I didn't get that from somebody else on the forum at all.
Did
Sure.
Gamer Fuel back in the day unlock anything for Halo?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
It wasn't until Halo 4 that you got stuff.
Which is an XP boost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting Gamer Fuel once with Halo 3 and staying up all night. And or not all night, but like till 5 in the morning playing Halo 3. And the next day, I felt like I had a hangover. Like,
You probably did have a hangover.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, but the original Gamer Fuel Halo Gamer Fuel was disgusting. It's so gross.
Oh yeah, it was.
So gross.
It was very disgusting. It was like I had the grunt methane mask, like breather or whatever.
If they had marketed it like that, I actually would have enjoyed it more.
Tanks of methane for your grunty thirst. That would be awesome.
There you go.
So with Destiny, they'd have to. I don't know what don't the fallen
Vex juice.
Vex oil and
No, it's ether, right?
ether. Yeah,
Yeah.
ether. Yeah, that sounds good. I guess.
Well, I think we're like a little over an hour here. So, do you guys have any other thoughts or questions?
Questions about other
Oh.
E3 stuff?
Yeah.
Or
No, I guess we did. For a second, I thought we forgot to talk about Stormcaller, but we did.
We didn't talk about grenades. Should we?
Oh, so my favorite new grenade is the Hunter grenade.
Yeah.
Because if you are looking north, you throw the grenade. When it hits the ground, it spreads out. It makes this line in the ground with purple flame going from like east to west, and so it goes perpendicular to the angle that you're throwing it.
That's
And
awesome.
if anybody walks into it, their screen goes black.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it
And
turns your
their
screen all
spots
purple.
just
and,
shuts off and.
yeah.
Yeah. Black
I
screen
mean, might as
of
well.
death.
It's super disorienting. So the
So-
first time I ran into that
I saw that effect in one of the videos, and I thought it was the smoke grenade.
I think that does the same thing.
Okay, interesting. So basically, they have the one that'll do it, and then when they're out of that one, they can throw the other one.
Yeah.
It's a nasty effect.
Oh man, I'm so excited about that subclass.
Yeah, I'm not a big Hunter fan with what's going on with the game right now, but I've been leveling Hunters ever since.
I'm excited for the new classes. I'm Warlock through and through, and I play my Hunter and Titan as second characters, so they're always getting like leftover gear and that sort of stuff. But I'm like excited to get the Titan and the Hunter built up and play the new subclasses.
Yeah, and it's cool that the subclasses are quests, or they seem to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked neat.
Well, and I think they're obviously been working on this probably since Destiny launched for the Taken King, and I'm guessing that was probably in response to people saying, why aren't there different quests for classes and for races? So
Right. It makes sense. I mean,
Oh.
because you're not going to just magically like have this new ability because you've been playing for a year.
Because fiction.
Because
they could have very easily though not made the mission specific to your class and just been like, oh yeah, and then you get to the end and on this
Here's your reward.
pillar, yeah.
No, I definitely appreciate that it's going to have some anchoring to your character. Because you always feel better like when you feel like you've earned something rather than just given to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they first started talking about Destiny, I always thought I was imagining like leading like a friend through a desert and like saying, okay, this bad guy over here has this awesome gun, and like I got it already by killing him. Now, I'll help you kill him or whatever. And that kind of like linking the world to the guns and the rewards, I think, could be interesting if they.
Well, and Luke actually hinted at that in an interview.
Yeah, I think I noticed that. Yeah.
At this E3.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that'd be a cool. I mean, I understand. I mean, I think random drops are fun too, but it would be a neat to have dedicated weapons that you earn from little side quests and things. I think that'd be, and they always talked about like your gun being a legend or something like that. Like it, when you looked at somebody's gun, it would like describe the Guardian. Yeah, yeah, and that would be cool if, oh, he's got that gun. That means he went and killed that guy over, on Mars or whatever. But I think a part of that they might need a more. I mean, and like the Taken King allows more locations and more little pockets to get lost in, because I'd like a lot more going forward. I know I read in an interview not that long ago, somebody linked to on the forum was a developer said that a lot of the spaces started out wider, farther apart from each other, and wider, and then it decreased the chances of people kind of running into each other.
Right.
And so they funneled them more. But in some ways, I don't know. I think I'd maybe funnel and then break open into even bigger areas where you can get lost in little side quests and earn little things that you can then. I like the idea of being able to, in like a social game, a social part of the game, of like being able to tell someone, hey, I got this gear or gun from this place or thing, or event or something.
Well, there is going to be exclusive gear in the Red Bull quest.
That's true. If I have to go to the store. I have to take and then I buy a Red Bull and I get something. Yeah, exactly.
You just tell the story of your quest to 7-Eleven.
But I always find that the Walmart skybox is kind of claustrophobic. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do you guys ever walk around just real world and look up sometimes and think, oh, that's a pretty good skybox?
I've done that once or twice, yeah.
Yeah, I've done a couple times.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said no.
Yeah.
Oh, the weapons look and feel quite different.
Oh,
than they
yeah.
do.
That
pulse rifle, pretty good.
That pulse rifle is awesome.
Well,
I want that.
The look of the scout rifle is insane. Like, it's just like a frame almost.
Yeah, with the little canister on it.
Yeah.
I think it was Amalon, however you say it.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're
Which is the
about.
company that makes, what's the auto rifle? The exotic auto rifle. Not Suros.
Hard light?
Hard light.
Yeah, they got a very minimalist yet futuristic aesthetic to them. Yeah, all the new guns basically I'm seeing that are actually using new
Models.
as opposed to pre-existing, reconfiguring pre-existing parts or whatever. Really exciting, and all the armor. I think like there's no dip in like quality or sometimes DLC things seem like an outfit you unlock in some game. It can sometimes feel like it's tacked on, but like the art direction on gear seems to be just staying just as awesome as the core game.
Yeah. You guys see the Suros rocket launcher
Oh, yeah.
with a holographic sight? Oh, so good. And it actually, I noticed it only on like the second day. There's, even when you're not scoped in, there's a little holographic text. This is Suros.
Oh, awesome.
It's like their little logo, but it's where the site would be, just sort of down at the bottom, and sort of always just floating in the game space.
That's awesome.
Like nice little details.
Well, the thing that was so interesting about it is I watched like the Vidoc, and I assumed the guns they were using were exotics because they look so different. Because before this expansion, it was pretty easy to pick out the exotics.
Right.
Yeah.
And so just seeing that, and then seeing people open their inventory and being like, "Oh my gosh,
That's all
all of those are
legendary.
legendaries."
Yep.
Was awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to turn into a pumpkin here pretty soon.
Okay.
And I've got to go kill Skolas in 30 minutes. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have that scheduled. But thanks for getting together. It was fun to talk. I was jonesing to get a podcast going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
It'd be nice to get this started up again.
We probably got 15 minutes of quality talking there.
None
If
of
you
it
can
with
just-
Claude.
It was, I'll raise some of the Claude stuff. That was just a warm up. I wasn't even recording.
If we did this stuff more often, it would probably help.
So
Yeah.
so speaking of recording, on the first day of E3, Claude's like, I'm just going to go see and check in with the Bungie. There's like Activision people that will give you a schedule of like, hey, you can have an interview at this time. And so Claude's like, I'm just going to see if we can do this. And we got one, and they're like, you can do it in 2 hours. And he's like, oh shit, we don't have anything to do interviews with. So I was like, just download an app on your phone where you can like record and, edit the recording on there. And he's like, okay. So we got everything ready. We fielded questions from DBO, and we get in there. We're interviewing Mark Noseworthy, who's like executive producer on Taken King.
Oh.
And we get 20 minutes of interview, and then after, Claude goes, I forgot to press record. But I was filming it, so I got a little bit of audio. But yeah.
Well, even if you guys can get text together or something, I mean, if all else fails, I'll just do an illustrated Claude talking to...
Interpretive illustration.
Yeah.
This could be good.
I'll have
That could
Claude interviewing a Red Bull in a hood.
Inside a Walmart skybox.
Just make that scout rifle, except with instead of the Amalon canister, have it a Red Bull.
All right, guys. Well, thanks to everyone for listening. Maybe we'll get like 5 people. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And tune in. Hopefully we'll get this rolling again. So keep an eye on the feed.
Definitely.
All right. Thanks, Xenos, Levi, Mastrbiggy, and Claude, wherever he is. And I'm Beorn.
Yes. No problem.
And there's another DBO Starside Lounge. Thanks.
Forgot that was the title.
I know, right? Yeah.
Hey, Colin, did I tell you I got another Galahorn?
Did you really?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Although that would be really funny. If I had, I would have. So I've actually, after that second one dropped, I considered hooking up recording equipment so that I could record every game I play in case a third one dropped that I could send to Milan. But then I thought that might be mean.
Nope. You should do it.